Will you please give a huge round of applause for Murray Tom and Tim Harper. You two amazing creative geniuses are the brains behind the offering, and we just want to take some time to find out what is the vision that you had for this offering project 17 years ago, I believe, and it's only just come to fruition in these days. Tell us about that, Murray.
I had the, thank you, Hannah. I had the privilege of sharing with the General just a couple of hours ago. I'm a big journaler. Any journalers in the house? Three of us, awesome. And about 17 years ago, I just, in a moment of quietness, I just wrote in my journal that offering is the artists of our time, presenting the music of all time. And I wanted to take the hymns that have sustained the weary for centuries, for generations, and them to record them afresh so that they might continue to provide hope and strength and comfort for the future generations. I just want to also say, hold the applause till the end. I just also wanted to say that all the artists, of course, came on board and provided a spectacular offering of their own. They performed at no charge. They forgave all future royalties so that the maximum amount could be given to those in need via the wonderful work of the Salvation Army. And just one more thing, I just want to honour my wife, because also Anne and I didn't take a cent from this project. Anne, could you just stand up? I just want to honour Anne for 1 second.
Not only were there amazing musical artists, as we just heard before, but you also had beautiful art. How did that come together?
Tim?
Yeah, we had the beautiful image that you saw before was actually something Dick Frizzell painted, and it was inspired by you, the Salvation Army. When we finally decided it was the Salvation Army that we wanted to give the money to, and Murray will talk about that in a minute, we actually went and shared the idea with Dick, and he came back maybe 3 days later. He was so excited, and he'd done this sort of haphazard sort of sketch, and he'd got his paints and his tracing paper, and it's this little image up here in the top left corner, which just summed it up so beautifully. We just thought, man, that's incredible. We've got 11 more songs that we're going to record. What if we ask 11 painters to paint? So we actually asked, the prerequisite to be in the offering project was, if we can sell you for $10,000 or more, you're worthy of the Salvation Army. So we got the best of the best. These are the best New Zealand artists that we have, and they all came on. I can't tell you how enthusiastically they did, and as Murray said, offered their time for free. An incredible.
And we changed the byline. We went from the artists. Of our time performing the music of all time to the artists of our time presenting the music of all time. So both that the recording artists and the visual artists could be equally embraced within the project.
So you had many options in terms of who you could actually offer this to. Why did you choose the Salvation Army?
The Salvation, it was very interesting. The Bible says, though the vision tarry, wait for it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here tonight that need to hear that, because this vision is something that I got 17 years ago. We brought it to fruition this year. And really, there were two parts to the offering project. One, we wanted music to feed the soul. We wanted proceeds to help the poor. And in a world of need, there are so many options as to what vehicle could be used to help the poor. And then one afternoon, Friday afternoon, we were talking with my sister Wendy, where's Bryant? He's in the house. Yeah, he had a big part to play within and Bryant and his team came and played years ago at my sister's Wendy's Street. Where is Bryant? There he is. Good on you, man. And Wendy just started to share about how special that was. And we just had this genuine eureka moment, the fact that, oh my God, the Salvation Army, they've been built, their foundation is music. They've been helping for as long as many of the hymns have been sung. Literally, you want to talk about a marriage made in heaven? This is a marriage made in heaven, and we're so grateful. And I've got to say, 14 years into the project was when we brought the Salvation Army on board. We're so grateful for their willingness to partner with us. And as Tim will testify, that's when, boy, did we get rock and rolling from that moment. That was fantastic.
Part of the marriage was actually bringing together the songs and the artists. How did that process work? How did you choose that?
Well, the musicians were the ones we invited first, and so we actually had this long list of hymns that we loved, and we hoped that they may have a connection with them, and some of them did, but many didn't. So we left the hymns with them, and we let them choose the hymns. And once they were happy, they had to own that song. I think of someone like Holly Smith, and she went round and round and round in circles because, of course, Holly wouldn't say that she was a Christian, But there was something about the heart of the project and the Salvation Army that I think made her go, I'm just going to say yes to this because something inside of me is saying, say yes. And so when we landed with Whakaria Mai, with her antiques doing the duet, well, I mean, you've seen the result. It's just the most astonishing song. And Holly wrote the arrangements for all the choir. She gave everything to that song. So when they really lands with them, Ginny Blackmore with His Eyes on the Sparrow, the song she fell in love with, and that's why she wanted to become a singer. So it had to be really strong. And then we would take the hymn to the painters, the artists. And so they didn't get a choice so much, but they got to listen to the song. So they could paint while they listened to the song, interpret it that way, interpret it visually. So
and
pretty
of course,
powerful.
Tim and I also created the Great New Zealand Songbook, so we'd had a wonderful relationship with many of the performers. Dave Dobbin, for instance, he's a good friend of ours, and I just said, hey, Dave, what's your favourite hymn? He didn't know where I was going, and he said, oh, it's Amazing Grace. I said, fantastic. And of course, then he ended up recording it with the Salvation Army, Citadel Band. What a wonderful, again, marriage of the partnerships with the Salvation Army able to perform on the album as well.
Most definitely, and I think this has obviously had an impact on so many people. Put your hand up if you have listened to the songs from the offering. Put your hand up if you have given a copy of the offering to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. What has the impact been on you both and your families, your whānau?
Well, just on that, by the way, as Anne said to me just before I came up, she said, just remember that, we with the offering album, we did two. So buy one, give one away. And in the spirit of the offering project, that just means people could just keep giving away. But for me personally, I think it's a part realization of a vision, because I think that as we go through life, life is full of disappointment. Life is full of things that you hope for a lot and you ended up getting a little. The offering project has exceeded my wildest expectations. I believe it was the project that I was born for, and I'm rejoicing that God trusted me with this vision.
Amen. Thank you both. We want to stand and we want to offer you our thanks. Can you please stand and give a huge thanks to Murray and to Tim?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hannah.
All right.